Hi, sweetie pie. I'm back inside now. It's dark outside and cold, but it's warm in here. So I'm going to read you um, another book. This one's not a wintry one. This one is called The Poppy Lady. Mo- um, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Moina, Moina Belle Michael and her tribute to veterans. And here's the picture. A bit of a glare, but by Barbara Elizabeth Walsh, paintings by Lane Johnson. And bright orange inside here, the poppy lady. That flower is a poppy. And this is a field full of poppies. Poppies are one of my favorite flowers, especially in paintings and pictures. And they only last in the garden about 1 or 2 or 3 days. They hardly last at all. I'm sure there are places where they last longer, but last year I think it rained and just right after they came up and it beat down the petals, and that was that. Okay, here it begins, and it's like a misty picture where you can see the house almost like in a fog, and then over here you see the young girl or woman, and it's long ago. There's a cart with wheels and a horse pulling it, and let's see what it says. Moina Belle Michael looked forward to summer vacation when she returned home from her third year of boarding school in 1885. So that is a long time ago. That's more than 100 years. It's more than 130 years ago. All appeared normal on the family plantation. Her two brothers were off fishing in Indian Creek, and her four sisters were busy helping her mother prepare for the big 4th of July barbecue. But Moina soon found that things were far from normal in the close-knit community of Good Hope, Georgia. In the 20 years since the surrender, in quotes, families who had lost everything in the Civil War were still unable to recover their losses and start over. And while Moina had been away, things had gotten worse. Drought had ruined the cotton crops, so people had little money. The children in the community couldn't even attend school. There was no money for a teacher. Moina's mother came up with a plan. From an early age, Moina was determined to learn. She had read the complete works of Shakespeare and Byron. Now, at age 15, she was well educated. Perhaps she could teach the neighbor's children. That's an interesting idea. A 15-year-old who's read that much good literature that's not easy, being the teacher for the neighbor's children. The thought interested Moina. At her mother's suggestion, she cleaned out a slave's log cabin abandoned on the plantation and set up school with two of her sisters, one brother, and a few local children. On that first day, Moina began class with a verse from the Bible, an inspiring song, and a prayer. Moina believed everything was possible if you did your best and followed through. I lost my spot. Throughout her life, she often relied on her favorite motto: whatsoever your hands find to do it with all your might. Well, that's good. And I must say, my man, that seems to be, if I had to pick a description of how you do things, that's exactly what I might say. Whatsoever your hands find to do, you do it with all your might. And I love that. I told everyone at Roots today how proud I am of you, how much energy you have, how you arch your back when it's time to change your diaper and flail about, and how proud I am of all of it, even when I get kicked in the face. Okay, this is a lovely picture. It's so amazing to me how people can create something out of just a page. I mean, look at that field of yellow blossoms, wildflowers, could be dandelions, could be A little too big for buttercups, but it's just so cool with just a little bit of paint and a paintbrush. Or look at this young Moina with her bonnet and her expression on her face and the detail in her bonnet. Some places in a picture have a lot of detail and some have much less, and yet the whole thing works. I love that. These children's books are just pure art. Oh, look at this. This begins after that prologue. We're at sea in 1917, March, an explosion at sea during World War I. German U-boats had sunk another American ship, and the nation was outraged. Would the president call for war? Would Congress agree? Moina Belle Michael prayed not. She had been touring Europe when war first broke out in the summer of 1914. So if she was born in 1885, she would have been 29. And here's a picture of her in a hat with her glasses and the style of dress from back then. And this looks like fields in Europe. But now bomb craters, trenches, barbed wire barriers, and battlefields covered the beautiful countryside, visions that still made her shudder. See, this is how she saw it before the war. And now, as the war is raging, this is what she's seeing. The foxholes, the trenches, the bombed out places. People can't grow crops when fields are used for war. April 1917. The paperboy wheeled his bicycle across the University of Georgia's normal school, slamming on his brakes when he reached Moina. Moina snatched the Athens banner away from him, struck by the thundering headline. Wilson asking for war. Moina slowly climbed to the top of the dormitory steps and held out the newspaper for all to see. It was striking how different personalities reacted to the sight of that headline. As war began hammering against the home door of every American. Moina knew, this is what she wrote. It was striking how different personalities reacted to the sight of that headline as war began hammering against the home door of every American. That's a very good way to describe it. Moina knew what war would mean to the college girls. She was their teacher and foster mother. Quote, their brothers, their sweethearts were of war service age. Some of their fathers were. Moina promised she would let them know as soon as the president and Congress reached a decision. So here she is on the steps up here, and she reads it out for all these young women, well, young women and men, to hear that war is coming. It will affect all of them, their brothers and boyfriends and fathers and uncles. Beautiful paintings. You see the surprise on their face, the tears in their eyes. Oh, I'm just so impressed with the artwork in these books. Moina knitted socks and sweaters, rolled bandages for the Red Cross, and when enlisted friends and students came to say goodbye, she gave them a little remembrance to take overseas. But Moina wanted to do more. They rolled bandages, they knitted socks, There's a sign that says, "Our boys need socks, knit your bit." She delivered books, magazines, and candy to their camps nearby. She and friends invited soldiers home for dinner, and I felt privileged to give my best welcome to these lads in my country's uniform, she wrote. See all the soldiers, some of them on horseback, back of horses, so they ride that way. I just saw a picture of you, my boy. That's why I smiled. This picture didn't make me smile, but the picture of you on the screen did. And the fact that we're not at war now. And when it was time for them to leave, Moina went to the train station to see them off. And my heart was thrilled with pride for their bravery, courage, and cheerfulness. They were so young, they were so innocent of the dangers they were to face. But Moina needed to do even more. See the train? And they're all leaning out of the window because they're not going to see. They're not going off for just the day as we usually do when we're going to work, but for a very long time in a very dangerous place. Have to log back on. To become a canteen worker for the YMCA and help soldiers overseas seemed perfect. She could listen about home and family and serve food to men on leave from the battlefronts. It was very special. Not everybody wanted to help. They wanted to forget, but she wants to do as much as she can. In the fall of 1918, her appointment approved. 49-year-old, okay, I added wrong. If she's 49 in 1918, I thought they said she was born in 1885. Did I read that wrong? Oh, I did read it wrong. She returned home from her third year of boarding school in 1885. Okay. So that's why she's older than I realized. In 1918, she's 49 years old. She headed for New York City and the training program at the Y headquarters at Columbia University. She successfully completed the course but was told she was too old to go overseas. Moina refused to give up, but what could she do now? Help the soldiers before they left for war. You see, if somebody's determined, they find a way, don't they? It's amazing. Moina set up a desk in the basement of Columbia's Hamilton Hall where soldiers, sailors, Marines, and secretaries came during their free time. Every day brought privileges to serve men and women going overseas, each to face the submarine-infested Atlantic and the gas, bombs, and shrapnel of the battlefronts. That's what she wrote. But as winter approached, the large room turned gray and gloomy. These soldiers deserved a brighter, more comfortable place. Moina knew what to do. The room does look drab, and their uniforms are drab. The only colorful thing are the dresses of the women. In this case, just one with white and green, and that beautiful lamp. but she wants to change it from gray and gloomy, and it says she knows what to do. With her small salary, Moina bought fresh flowers and placed them around the room. Oh, there, I lost my place. More soldiers came to read and write. Others came to spend time with family, friends, and sweethearts. So often they would hang about near the desk waiting for a bit of attention, she said. And Moina was happy to look at photographs, listen to letters, and share the latest hometown news. But she needed to do even more. Oh, it's long. Let me read this in two parts. Didn't realize we're already over 15 minutes. Okay, sweetie pie, I will sign off here and continue very soon. I love you, sweetie pie.